Hi, this is Deneen Gless with your 420 Minute. So we're going to call this Permissive Will Take 2. Last week, if you caught the 420 Minute, I talked about the permissive will of God, and that sometimes I think that God even lets us get our dumb and bad wishes and dreams and hopes and pursuits. God even lets us have those sometimes in order to show us a lesson that we wouldn't learn otherwise. So I was talking with a friend who has a dear friend who has just lost like a 3-year-old niece to cancer. And she said, how does that factor into this permissive will of God? Explain to me, if God is a loving God, how does a 3-year-old pass from cancer? Something, don't tell me they made a bad choice and now they have to live with those consequences. And I get that question a lot. I get that. So I guess I want to look at it this way. Do I believe that God is in control of everything? I do. I do believe that. And do I believe that God can intervene and do miracles and make it so that a 3-year-old wouldn't die of cancer? I do. I believe that. The tricky part is, where does God step in and where does God not step in? And God made the decision to give us free will. Now, no fault of this beautiful child's at all. But this is where the permissive will part comes in. For instance, I live in an area where PFAS has been all over the news because quite a long time ago, a lot of people that are much higher up in the world than you and I are decided that it would be a lot less expensive if they took care of their waste chemicals by simply dumping them in the ground. And they did this because they cared more about profits than they did about people. Now, I'm going to give them a tiny bit of naivete. Maybe they really didn't understand. But the point is that they did it out of greed, really. That is, in a way, permissive will. That their decision to pollute a deadly chemical is absolutely not in God's will. And their decision to do that leaks into people's water and into their ground, giving them cancer among all kinds of other horrific diseases. One of which could have been, and I don't know what this beautiful child suffered from, exactly what kind of cancer, but I think you understand what I'm saying. I believe that cancer is because we live in a fallen world and people do put profits ahead of other people. And unfortunately, that is something that I believe breaks God's heart, and certainly something and I don't believe God is a he, but something God could intervene. But again, I ask you, where do we intervene? Where does he not? You know what I mean. Grace and peace. I hope this has been helpful. Have a great week.